Hey everyone, this is Kabi on the mic. Today we gotta watch the one-on-one game, yet another one from our core tester team. And in the bottom part of the corner of this, not really brand new map, but one of the recent ones, made for campaign. Probably you have already played the revamped version of the last mission, Flights Chapter 2. Here you need, Dark Chapter 2, the last one, when you bound to free the Eater hero. Yeah, who's been right here in these chains, standing, waiting to be free, to be set free. Yep, so anyways, in the bottom part of this map appears the guy under the nickname Living War Legends, who's Liho, his main name kinda. And in the top side of the map there is player 92, more often being referred as Snowy, the Ukrainian player, and he's actually maining light faction, but pretty much all the top guys are quite good at playing both. Not really everyone, but many of them do. So they usually prioritize one faction on their main accounts, but on these ones, made for the testing purposes, they can of course play both faction because they don't need to level them up. When it comes down to leveling up, of course, many players can stick to just one faction, just so that it is more cheap. I personally have a privilege to play both, because I'm not really caught on resources. I don't use too many free resources on my personal account, to be honest. Just hanging out with premium and golden battle pass, but yeah. It is not impossible that I'll have to do it. I don't know. We'll see. Going well so far, but it's not about me, it's about Snowy and Liho, and here we can see Snowy going a fancy build with Undead Obelisk quite early, before his Citadel 2 is up. So, well, actually, if you're going to play Undead line, it makes sense, because you can just casually build the Tower of Dark Magic earlier, in case, you know, just in case you will need it. Who knows what happens, maybe there is a Durax rush, so you'll just have an opportunity. You won't be in need of skeleton archers in this scenario, but the tower might be quite helpful. So in the meantime, we can see Altar of Heroes on Elven Tree, which is actually standard, but Sanctuary 1 so early on is rather beyond the standards, I'd say, because what is standard now is getting Human Monument rather, because you wanna get knights. But this map, it is kinda straightforward, because you don't really need to go far on the right side and on the left. You have pretty much the straight road between the bases. It is not really too short on the rush distance, but when the map is more of a straightforward type, you don't really need cavalry so badly, because you don't need to move around too often, you know, to reposition often. Yep, so you can stick to the more straightforward style, but it is also questionable if Sanctuary in the healer branch is a straightforward line, because healers are good at making pit stops. They don't really impact on the actual engagements so much. So what they do is, when your cavalry is out there dealing damage, cutting workers, and then it's back on the low HP, and you can rescue, you can heal them to replenish on the full health in the meantime while you're not engaging. But here we're about to get set up when everyone engaging non-stop. Yeah, by the way, Princess is quite late. Probably it is also because of the Sanctuary, because healers are kinda not really expensive, but not for free either. Yeah, but Princess here on time anyway, doesn't have active ability ready though, and the Undead player already acquired his own chest, trying to get a second one. Eater eating stuff, nothing weird happening. Yep, Snowy. It seems he's okay about withdrawing from here and finally letting Liho his own chest. Also his own watchtower. Well, Eater has the capability of staying longer, to be honest, because Eater is full HP. But what is dangerous is the Princess, of course, because the Princess here is the one that can deal damage to this Eater. But of course it is also dangerous to crawl around the Eater, because anytime it can turn around, activate his ability, and if you are not swift enough, you're dead. Sorry, Reap. Yeah, but what I really like in the Liho space is that Castle 3 is already up. Second rug's going up. Also the Sanctuary 2, and that means that Liho is about to switch off to the Fox Riders. But now let's think if we fill Fox Riders in this composition. Well, on this map they have kinda unlimited abilities of harassing the worker line, but is it even up to harassing, I mean, this game? Well, there is room for it probably, but right now Liho is about to try to take down an elemental, capture the mana well. Yeah, it is always so questionable if you really go for your mana well before the main chest, the middle chest, but probably Liho just feels it like he's not capable of fighting with the Eater for this chest, so he decided to give it away and rather get the mana well. In the meantime, Fox Riders are coming, and also the Dwarven Forge too. So, I mean, it is the quick snipers, it seems. Well, the thing that Altair say quite often is that archers are not a good units after the 7th minute mark, and even up to it not always good. So you don't really want to keep producing archers in the current balance. So yeah, they are quick, they are somewhat good about map control, but they also 4 food. You don't always want to spend 4 food to send it over the map, especially considering the fact that they die to Warg Riders, to the Knights, so all the stuff that people usually use for items control. But sometimes, just if you have some archers left from the early game, you can kinda use them for sending off to the object, but now that you have a chance, you probably wanna switch off to the guardsmen, also snipers. Snipers good against Eater. Yeah, Fox Riders join the fight, quickly killing the Necromancer. They're not really that good against zombie anymore. Princess tries to escape, no succeed. Eater and the Princess ended up being in the same cell. Yeah, it's happening in the War Legends. Sometimes it's kinda okay. Until we have this cell system, it may happen. When people control and reorder units in the different directions, you might end up seeing units being temporary in the same cell. Yeah. So, I mean, this Eater never died throughout the whole game. Also the Princess. But the Princess is so low. Liho still trying his best, microing his ass off, you know, to try to survive with this Miriel. Yeah, but also not that easy, because he also have Baron to take care of. Yep, and this is why these Fox Riders doesn't receive any kind of attention. So just casually hits the building, and nobody has bandwidth to kinda maintain that situation. So Under Obelisk nearly died to Fox Riders, who doesn't even deal damage to the buildings, you know. I mean, barely deals damage. Yeah, but here are snipers on the map. Important part why you have to build the snipers is that any undead will end up building Venom Speechers. And once you play fancy stuff like the Knights, the Guardsman, Paladin, nobody of those guys hit air, you know. So probably you need someone who does. Snipers are really good against Venom Speechers, and so are the bikers. No bikers here so far. Either catching the poor Fox Rider. She's not mourning to some reason. Well, we have many sounds rearranged. There are also some new problems because of that, but we are on that, trying to fix off everything. Most importantly, a lot of new fancy music is coming. I know that probably not all of you guys even play with the in-game music, because you play with no sound or rather turn on something from your own playlist, but the next music we are making will be kind of better. It will be adaptive, it will be the same style, same pace. So it's still up to you, obviously. But I play with the original music in all the games, honestly. I like how the music creates the background to help focusing, because it cuts off the side sounds, especially when you play in the headphones. So I just kind of use the in-game music like a white noise, for the white noise purposes. This is why also the esports players use the music. Not always the in-game one, of course, but you probably saw the esports tournaments when they have big headphones with a white noise, and inside there are the inline headphones with the music inside. And this way you can cut the sound from the surroundings. The casters speaking, etc. But well, it's interesting how Itcher just now ate the sniper. And I don't know, guys. I would just casually tap off if I would be in such position. This Itcher, you kinda can't kill the guy for the whole good 8 minutes, probably. Also, Grog joining, Venom Spitters joining, poor workers having a hard time against Varg Riders. Nothing goes to Licha plan so far. And also, both mana wells too snowy. Snowy is obviously one of the best players in the game, but so is Licha. So we are seeing the game of really high level. I can't tell if the players are doing perfect job right here, because they kind of play the experimental strategies, but overall the guys are quite good. I played with both recently and did not find any success, of course. It took Licha less than 6 minutes to finish me off. With Snowy we played longer game, but it was in the Warrior League. Yep, so it is 15-minute mark, and once Skeleton Warrior are gonna take this Summoning Stone, the things that are already bad for Liho are going to become even worse. But he is also doing the great job with this princess, of course, so all those guys who say, see how princess is useless, see how Iter is imbalanced. Well, Iter is good in this game too, but look on this princess. This princess is not easily reachable and, well, probably died a couple of times, but still does a lot of impact. If not this hero, I think Liho will be long dead in this game. Yeah, we are temporarily having a bug when, even though I'm an observer and I have the English language selected, we still hear the Russian phrases. We're already aware, so it's gonna be fixed soon. I hope in the future videos it's gonna be fixed. Not that important, of course. Yep, so Mount Elemental still alive, but going to go down rather quickly when the princess joins the fight. Also, two snipers, of course, good at that, because they are piercing the creature's armor, ignoring. I think it's 70%, right? It can be different based on the different equipment sniper has. Well, in this game apparently guys do not have any equipment. We don't provide equipment for balance testing currently, just because it's harder to arrange. Well, Wind Mages joined the fight and Snowy decided to use the aeronauts against them, just like a casual anti-air. Might work, at least as temporary decision. The good part for aeronauts is they are quite fast hiring, so you can get a lot of those quite quickly. Yeah, Princess still keeps harassing the dark units. Good trade. For the light player, I mean. Yeah, and an interesting part against this stage of the game is that Liho is up to the 4th tier and already can work with 100 food, while Snowy is still already have the Citadel 4, but for currently he forgot about the 4th farm, so he's cut to 80 limits, 80 food. And this is why Liho is going to have a better time for the next few minutes, because he just have more army to work with. He has 3 heroes against 2, and also the Wind Mages. Well, he doesn't have a lot of units, right? Because 3 heroes consume a lot of food, and if you guys playing on farm level 1, it means that you only have 100 food, and of course 100 food is not much. This is why the farm is probably the first thing you want to level up. But some guys play on everything level 1, and this is why they are very short on units in this mode. So they probably cannot enjoy the game 100%, but it is what it is. 100 limit to work with, so only a few snipers and wind mages. If you wanna have 3 heroes, of course, probably. Sometimes you can cut heroes, but if you micro heroes like Liho does, probably it's not the best option to cut them off, because they really do the great impact on the game. Well, obviously the Snowy's micro control of Eater was really good too. Remarkable, probably we can call it. The fancy words don't come up to me quickly when I speak English, you know. Yes, so finally engagement has won for Liho. He has an upper hand. It is 55 food against 88, and it's interestingly how both players are on the very few production buildings, and at the same time they don't float high in the bank because resources are being spent quite quickly. Also, Liho decided to add a couple of healers to the composition. Well, one of the reasons is probably the low princess, but you can replenish HP for all the heroes because all the heroes are low, and as we know, the light faction doesn't have the recovery scroll under their belt. Probably it would be even great to add the second sanctuary, but the second sanctuary is quite expensive. It is twice as much as the first building. Unless you have talents, because talent can make this cost lower, but not much. Like I think 5% on the second level of that talent. But still it is something. So, kinda, why not? Yeah, but we can see how Liho wasn't able to really counterattack his opponent because his heroes were so low. And it is very unlucky because the time has left, you know. The opportunity has been lost, and there will be no second chance. To cut Snowy off guard, I mean, of course, there will be chance to try to attack, but Snowy will not be caught off guard anymore. Well, a fancy scroll could use. The Summoning Stone appear, and at the same time, I think it's a good position for Liho to engage. Paladin starts the fight, not able to use the dome and probably is about to go down. Well, the princess has to take the Rocketeer down, but she can't do that quickly enough. Baron is being microed away. Snipers deal great damage against this Grog. And one more hit and Grog is going down. The Elemental is gonna join the fight to take down the Tower of the Dark Magic. Fancy micro with the princess trying to run away from the Rocketeer. Oh, probably princess is about to go down. Liho moves it away. One more time, need to move it away. Eater can't make the hit. And finally the sitter goes down. A couple of units Snowy has here to at least start doing damage against an elemental. He's like 80% HP. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the venom from Venom Spitters does not impact elementals. This is why they are not stocking the poison on the elemental. And at the same time, Liho getting his mana well back, and the second mana well is not even taken throughout the game. Elemental is down. All Liho received is the time, but it's quite much in the situation like this, because Liho was able to replenish all of his army. He's almost supply blocked again. Something on 4 foot will be helpful, probably the copter. By the way, the copter is really an option here, because Snowy only has 2 Venom Spitters and nothing more is hitting air in the army of Dark. But Liho can't know that. So he sticks to this kind of army composition, and finally he can at least take one chest. Yep, Venom Spitters in the wrong neighborhood probably. The Great Ring of Fire. Liho needs to react, but both healers go down, very unlucky. So now he needs more healers badly. Probably they're already in the production queue. Paladin uses the Dome of the Light, fighting with Grog, but a lot of damage from the Grog and from the Venom Spitters. And here comes the Drills. Scary units that can only be called weak because they are slow. But if they are on the target, they deal great damage. They're also very durable and really hard to fight against. You pretty much wanna go full air if the enemy switched to the Drills. And actually Liho does have the setup to switch to the full air if he wants, but he doesn't want it, seems. Probably he's not that scary of the Drills, but I think he should have. So far it is just one drill. Back in the day, drill that is under the surface would have 90% resistances, so it was literally almost impregnable. Simply put, you just can't kill it. It doesn't receive any damage. It is now, I think, only 50%, but it is still a lot, obviously, but you can kill the drill under the surface. Just because it is so freaking annoying when the drills just, you know, keep patrolling under your base and you can't leave because they will immediately kill everything, and you can't kill them because they have the great resistance. So we just decided it is a cool idea, a cool concept, but it's just so annoying to play against that probably it doesn't worth it having such a unit in the game. There is always a hard balance between things in this regard, because you kinda wanna the unit to be cool and be able to impact on the game when microed properly, but at the same time you have to keep in mind that you also have to counter it somehow. Yeah, probably Snow is about to engage. 2 heroes ahead, the other staff joining. Wind Mage trying to fight Venom Spitters back. Not the best snowstorm, honestly, just the 2 units. All the heroes passed by, and a lot of mana in the trash back. And at the meantime, Snowy also took away the mana well, so Liho will not have any more scrolls to work with, and on contrary, Snowy already have mana to work with. He can use the Gloom, he can use many stuff. Yeah, Liho trying to at least do something because there's no Rex. Thinking about taking up to the next factory to fight back Venom Spitters. It's not gonna happen in this game though. There was a gap when the light player with his 100 supply had a chance, had a shot to try to probably take the red base down, but the heroes were so low, so Liho decided not to try. And that he decided not to try meant that he won't be having any more opportunity. Well, probably there were more mistakes after that, and they led to him not having more opportunities, but at least the game was quite intense and the great micro with heroes from both sides, and here the Undead Swarm come on top, but we'll see what happens next between the best players of War Legends, but probably in the next videos, guys. And for today that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.